Hello, Grapperinos, and welcome to another exciting episode of Probably Next Week on Raw. I'm Brian, and I'm once again joined by a man who wants the next year to be better, Mike. Say hi, Mike.
Hello. I am hoping that next year ends with LA Knight graduating from jobber status, but I don't think that will happen. But who knows?
From jobber to U.S. title
I
again.
I have some late breaking news, Brian. People already know this probably by the time this episode's out because this is like a week old. But apparently, Dominic Mysterio has been shoot injured
Whoa,
in AAA. Yeah, he was shoot injured in a AAA match. So
that's crazy.
yeah, yeah, he was getting a big push. And then this might halt his momentum a little bit. So maybe this will allow LA Knight to get some momentum back, but I doubt it. They'll probably give it to like fucking I don't
Anything.
know. Jey Uso again.
Yeah. 4 letters. No, yeah, it's kind of crazy that Dom would suffer that injury. I think that would take him out for at least half a year, correct? Or
Yeah, I think he had like a shoulder injury or something.
yeah,
So
that's extreme. But I don't know. We'll see what they do with that. AAA is kind of out of our boundaries, at least on this show. But that is good to know, considering we are gonna be booking next year's Raw in some time. But next year is just around the corner, and we are, as of now, booking. I guess the year and the final episode of Raw for this year, 2025, heading into the new year. And we are sort of building up to that. But because it is the end of the year, I guess we'll talk about this. I know we were going to have like a big old segment doing this week, but because it is not a clip show, it is indeed a live show. I guess we'll just do this and be done with it. So, without further ado, we'll get into the LA Knight Memorial, what is it, Golden Jobber of the Year award? Yes, let's call it that. The LA Knight Memorial Golden Jobber of the Year award for 2025. Of course, there are some great nominees, but there will be one winner from Mike himself, and I will also pitch in for a winner for this category. So, Mike, I know there are some nominees that you can toss around: Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, obviously Brock Lesnar to the floor.
yep.
But who do you think deserves the LA Knight Memorial Golden Jobber of the Year for
So
2025?
I'll put out my nominees first and why I thought they would be nominated for Golden Jobber of the Year.
Sure.
So the first one. Now this can be a woman or a man. We don't discriminate. I just feel that a lot of the definition of a Golden Jobber is someone who is not like your typical jobber, not like fucking Rayo Americano who has basically no build and comes out to just lay down Javon Evans. Okay, he's not he's a regular jobber. A golden jobber is someone who gets actual build and actual momentum only to just completely get jobbed out every single time they get a push. So it can't just be your random everyday Monday Night Raw jobber that gets fed to whoever they want to push this week. So my first nominee for this category is obviously the namesake of this award, LA Knight. Now, LA Knight has had, I think, about 3 separate pushes over the last year. I believe he had a push early in the year for the World Heavyweight Championship, which was eventually won by Gunner before it was taken by CM Punk. Then he had a push again after that, where he was involved with CM Punk again for the World Heavyweight title, and then finally he had a final. Oh, he had the push into Money in the Bank too. as well, where he almost won Money in the Bank. He got close again. And then he had, again, another push against the Vision, and then eventually got written off TV. So that is why he's on here. Number 2 is he is on SmackDown, so I don't think I'm going to give Drew McIntyre. I think you're going to be doing Drew McIntyre because technically he's on SmackDown, right, Brian?
We'll say for this thing, it doesn't really matter if it's Raw or SmackDown. Who do you think is most deserving of the award?
Okay.
Doesn't matter which brand, but go ahead.
Okay. And the second winner, I guess, because I'm going to give you Drew McIntyre since he's technically listed on SmackDown, is probably going to go to. I'm honestly going to say Bayley. I know that she was like a former champion, but it feels like she's sort of like the Big Show for women, not because of her stature, but she seems to be this woman that they threw in there this year whenever they needed a big name for any sort of women's event. You know, it's like need someone to spice up the tag team division, throw in there. You need someone to spice up like a tournament for the World Heavyweight Championship, throw in there. I feel like she's gotten a lot of pushes this year that really haven't ended up anywhere. Like this last push she's gotten as like a schizo character really just ended up doing nothing. They're probably not going to reach the tag team title status at all. So I don't know. It just seems like she's just getting these pushes that end up going nowhere, and the cycle repeats. So I was going to say Becky Lynch, but she at least won the title. So
yeah. Before you do continue, I will say that Bayley is also like the Big Show in that she has had a lot of face and heel turns. Although those are only for like a little bit, and you probably wouldn't notice. But you know, there's a lot of them. You can take count. Anyway, do continue with your next nominee.
And that is the end of my nominees. My third one was Drew McIntyre, but he's on SmackDown.
All right, so. Fair enough.
Yes. Yeah. I think I have to give this to LA Knight. I think this is pretty much his award to lose because of how. I mean, he was second in Money in the Bank. He finished second to last again in the last time is now tournament. He lost, I believe, the number 1 contenders match a few months ago before CM Punk took the title back. So, and now he's written off TV after going up against the Vision on a show that has like almost no main event baby faces that are singles guys, because Jey Uso is now in a tag team with his brother. So the fact that they wrote him off on a show that was already lacking for main event good guys, I think is just cementing his premium jobber status. Because if you look at the faces on Raw, there really aren't any that are like main event singles players. I mean, you have AJ Styles, I guess, but he's retiring. CM Punk, and Jey Uso, aforementioned, but he's in the tag team. LA Knight, but he's been written off TV. Penta is injured. Rey Mysterio is mainly not. He's actually not even really a main event guy anymore. And that's it. So, yeah, why write him off TV if you need faces to go up against the Vision? So, and it seems like H has a hate boner out for this man.
Yeah, I don't know. I know no idea. I don't know why it happens.
He might honestly be better off going to AEW at this point.
So. Yeah, I don't know why he would be buried like this, and apparently the company is confused as to why you are so angry about them burying LA Knight. Although there could be theories out there that suggest that LA Knight could come back, win the Royal Rumble, and do all that stuff, but it's like, I don't think that's going to happen. And also, you could also say that, there'll be call-ups going up with a bunch of NXT people into Raw or SmackDown for the new year. And with that, LA Knight would just lose his footing in the shuffle. And he would be sort of brought back down by all these new people coming in. And so he's gonna get lost. He's gonna be directionless for the new year if they do that. So yeah, no, I do agree with you. I don't know why LA Knight is not getting the push that he certainly deserves. Except, I guess I guess they'll just have him work dark matches where he gets freaking paired up against Ray Phoenix or something. Against random ass people. But there you go. Yeah, so as Mike said, I will have my picks for the nominees and the winner from me for the LA Knight Memorial Golden Jobber of the Year. And congrats to LA Knight for your namesake trophy. I guess we'll just email it to the WWE headquarters, and we'll
just email it to just email a PNG. Here you go.
Here you go. It's just the LA Knight toy as like we just paint him gold and we just email it to the headquarters. There you go. For LA Knight. Oh, well, with that, let's get on to the show proper, where we book the next episode of Monday Night Raw as we head into the new year based on these rules. And after we tell you what we think is going to happen via our booking from beginning to end of the show, we will then watch the actual next episode of Monday Night Raw, and then we will basically score our prediction bookings based on the scoring system, and then we tell you what we got on the next episode of the show, and we do the whole thing over again. So, let's get to the scores. I have 5 points, and I think the majority of it is just the appearances. AJ, Dragon Lee, Nikki Bella, Maxine, Dupree. Although I did get Javon and Bailey winning their respective matches, so that's good for me. And Braun and Punk as well, an appearance. They were, signing a contract. Instead, they were in a tag team bout, so that's just the appearance point right there for both of those men. What do you got, Mike?
I have 5.5 points, mostly all from just appearances across the board. I have, and also match results. I think there was a lot of stuff that was pre-booked last week. You had Javon Evans obviously going over. You had Bailey showing up. You had Gunther showing up per usual. And I also got a part of the Raquel Rodriguez and Stephanie Vaquer segment, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah, so as Mike said, it is a pre-booked show. So probably not a lot of points there. But we'll see if we get some, because I think the Monday show is going to be live instead of pre-taped. So hopefully we'll get a decent amount of points from that as we head into the announced matches or what is announced rather, for the next episode, which are Nikki Bella and Raquel Rodriguez and Stephanie Vaquer in triple threat for the Women's World Championship, and the Usos going up against AJ Styles and Dragon Lee for the World Tag Team Championships. So, without further ado, let's book this thing and get to my version of the show first, as the Vision head to the ring. Paul Heyman talks about the match last week and the match on January 5 between Punk and Braun on Raw. He says that it will be a match where Braun Breaker will beat CM Punk and gain his World Championship around his waist. Braun reiterates what he said the past few weeks, that Punk is a narcissist, that all he cares about is himself, and that once Braun wins, he will cement the Vision as the most dominant faction in the company, even though that's probably already been demonstrated via War Games, but whatever. He is then interrupted by Punk, who says that he cares more about the people than Braun does. He will show it when he beats Braun for the title. He also says that Braun cannot win without the help of the Vision, a thing that he has said multiple times. and Braun was about to respond to those claims. However, one of the Vision starts to basically give, or at least give a symbol to Braun Breaker to give him the mic, and that person is Austin Theory. Austin tells him that Braun won't need help from the Vision because he will take care of the problem, and he challenges Punk to a match in the main event. Punk accepts, and the match is made between Austin Theory and CM Punk for the main event for the night. We move on to Rhea versus Kyrie, and this happens because we had Rhea versus Asuka, and this is just a follow up to that. Kyrie wins because of a failed distraction from Io Sky. I think this is going to be a storyline where Io tries to help her friend, but Rhea just tells her backstage to not interfere in her matches anymore and to just heal up. Like, let me take care of myself, bro. I don't need your help. And I think this may go to Io coming back at the Royal Rumble, perhaps. And then in the meantime, Rhea can go on a storyline where she tries to win without Io, but she keeps losing. I think this might lead to a match, a tag team match. I think there was already going to be a tag team match anyway. But I was just going to say it might come to a head again at the Royal Rumble later, where Io might come back and just help Rhea win her match. So there you go. We'll move on to the triple threat match for the Women's World Championship between Nikki Bella, Raquel Rodriguez, and Stephanie Vaquer. I'm going to have Stephanie Vaquer win by pinfall, and this is due to a miscommunication between the Judgment Day members, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. We'll probably have a backstage segment where they argue about, I don't know, what happened. And all the men are just playing the PS5 with a good old 2K25 while the women argue. And then Finn Balor's like, hey, stop arguing. You guys are obviously the reason why we lost. So get together and do better, I guess, is what he'll probably say. And again, this is just planting more seeds for the eventual downfall of the Judgment Day, probably next year, probably the year after that. Who knows? But that's what we'll have. Next, Javon takes on the other Americano, whose name is Bravo. I think that's the Blue Mask one, so that's why I have it pictured here. I'm going to have Javon win again, and after the match, Los Americanos beat him some more. Again, this is going to lead to Javon versus El Grande Americano on the 5th of January Raw. And Javon goes over again, and Javon Evans, whoa, that's a weird pronunciation. Javon is going to be the next member of Monday Night Raw, although, again, he was announced as a member of SmackDown, and now they're making him a free agent, and now they're making him part of the Monday Night Raw roster. Things that I just don't get, but I think Javon is going to be more useful at Raw than on SmackDown, I suppose, and they'll just put him there because he's much better on Raw than on SmackDown. And I guess if they're doing the whole Joe Hendry moves up to SmackDown, I guess that's a good decision too. But if that happens, then you might as well put Javon on Raw to kind of offset that. Otherwise, he'll get lost in the whole shuffle. So, moving on, Usos take on AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. And I know previously I have said AJ and Dragon Lee retain. However, because of the power of Jey Uso, because of the power of the 4 letters, 1 word, Y-E-E-T, Yeet, I think that the Usos win by pinfall because of a distraction from Gunther on AJ Styles. Last week, AJ Styles kind of appeared on Gunther's promo, and Gunther just does the "you can't see me" and leaves. Same thing here. He's just gonna appear. He's gonna look at Gunther, or AJ rather, is gonna look at Gunther, and Gunther does the "you can't see me," and he laughs and leaves. again, this is just more hate on Gunther and to feed into the Gunther versus AJ Styles feud. And yeah, that's about it. The Usos win because of that. We'll move on to Becky Lynch having a promo. She talks about her match with Maxine Dupree on January 5th. She says she will beat her because she is the best wrestler, and it's not just her saying it, it's a bunch of other magazines that have no value. She then gets interrupted by Maxine Dupree, who says it won't happen because of her training. She got trained by Natalia in the dungeon, and that she will work hard to make sure that the title stays on her waist as part of that training. And she will use that hard work to defeat Becky and retain her title. There's a bit of a brawl. Becky cheats, quote unquote. It's not an actual match, but she kind of does like a cheating maneuver, maybe like a roll up or maybe something else, and is on top. She grabs the title from Maxine, raises it up, and she says, "Who needs hard work when you can just do that one simple thing to get the title?" And then she leaves. She leaves. And that is the story, right? It's hard work versus cheating. Which one prevails? I think that's the story for this eventual matchup between Maxine and Becky. And honestly, I think Maxine retains here. I think they're gonna give her some decent competitors. I think the next one should be Nikki after she wraps up her feud with Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel Rodriguez. But who knows? Maybe there's some other woman in there lying in wait to challenge Maxine Dupree. But I honestly think Maxine retains her title. Main event: Austin Theory goes on to face CM Punk. And I am going to have, surprisingly, Austin Theory winning by pinfall with the distraction from Division. After the match, Division beat up Punk, but is saved by Ray. Unfortunately, it is not enough. Division go on top, and Braun raises Punk's title, and then drops it on top of Punk's body to close out the show. I honestly think that Braun, and I will reiterate this, that Braun will win the title. Hopefully, he does. On January 5 to solidify Division being the dominant faction. And this is again just a match to basically put over Austin Theory as, I guess, the new leader of Division, or at least building him up to be a significant member of the faction to show them that he is the real deal. He is brand new Austin Theory, new and improved and better. And yeah, that's about it. Any questions?
So do you still think Braun Breaker takes it next week?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Honestly,
I guess this will finally bury the last babyface they have on this fucking show. And I don't know who else they're gonna put up against Braun Breaker, but I guess we'll see.
yeah, there's the Royal Rumble. I guess Sammy. Like Sammy is probably the only guy, probably. But isn't Sammy on SmackDown? I don't know anymore. This brand split is just vague at this point.
They need a draft
so,
at some point. They need a draft desperately.
Yeah. Over on SmackDown, there are a couple call-ups that are kind of announced. So I'm guessing that they're probably going to call up some people for Raw. And again,
They
Raw
might move
Rumble.
some people over. Honestly,
Yeah.
they should if they call people up to SmackDown. Like, they actually don't have a whole lot of main event babyfaces in general right now. Like, even looking at SmackDown, I mean, well, actually, SmackDown has more because you have Randy Orton, Roman, Sammy. You have Cody, obviously, and that's really it.
Yeah. Although I
So
think we
it's
can cross out
4 or 5
Randy
guys.
Orton because God knows where he is. But whatever.
Once he's back from promoting the Beast Hunger Games in Saudi Arabia, co-hosted by iShow Speed and KS,
Yeah.
I think he'll be all right.
You know, it'll be worth it if he RKO's both of them, or RKO's both of them at the event or during the opening. But yeah, I hopefully he returns soon because God, SmackDown needs some stuff, and obviously Raw does too. But yeah, no, I
Now,
think
here's
yeah.
the $1 million question for you, unrelated to this segment here.
Okay.
Do you think that while Dominic is out, they finally break up the Judgment Day and they
Oh.
return Dominic as a face?
Oh.
I know that's been like people have been talking about that for a while. That like because Dominic is so over that he should return as a face at some point. And
Yeah.
I think that now that he's like injured for real is the best time to break up the Judgment Day. He doesn't have to suffer from any of that, and then he comes back, maybe in a couple months as a face and becomes like really big.
I think that they're going to do, the angle where I don't even know if this is an angle, but you know how when Liv was gone, they held a memorial to Liv Morgan, and they pretend like she's dead. Kind of the same thing with Dom. I think is what they're going to do, and yeah, I think it's going to be the same storyline where Dom comes back. He sees that the Judgment Day are thriving without him, and he's like, okay, well, you know what? There's no use for me here. I might as well go on my own. And I don't know. He'll probably align himself with freaking Damian Priest on SmackDown. I guess I don't know, but yeah, I think that's what they're gonna do. Essentially, is basically Judgment Day. They're gonna pretend that Dom is dead, and they'll try to carry on without him. And they notice that they do much better without Dom, and even though they're still grieving about it, but they learned that they can move on without Dom. Dom comes back, they're like, okay, we don't need you anymore, bye. And then Dom basically just says, okay, fine. I guess you don't need me. I'll go fuck off to SmackDown. So that's what I think will happen with Dom, honestly, at this point. So yeah, the Judgment Day are not going to break up. I think they are going to try to continue and they'll get some gains. I'm gonna say Judgment Day breaks up 2027. I think because all of that needs to be set up at next year, and then later in the year, Judgment Day will rise up again, and then the year after that, 2027 is when they will start to fall and crumble, and then Dom can go on and do some solo things, go to AAA by himself, and do all this stuff. So yeah. Any other questions before we move on to your card?
Uh, no, I think I'm ready for my card.
All right, let's move on to your card then. Starting off with
I have the Vision promo. So the Vision come out with Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, and they talk about the match next week. Um, Paul Heyman says that the numbers will overwhelm CM Punk, but I think Braun Breaker is a little bit miffed at this, and he pipes up and says, "You know what? I can take him up myself. I don't even need these guys here because I can do it. I'll take them out." And teases a little bit of tension in this heel faction. But this is interrupted by CM Punk. CM Punk comes out and says, I basically, does the typical heel thing or face thing where he's like, I don't need anybody else. I can beat you all on my own right here, right now. Yeah. And yeah, basic promo off here between CM Punk and Braun Breaker. CM probably throws in some jab about Scott Steiner being an absolute idiot, but who knows?
yeah, I think he already made a comment
Is
about the Steiners being dumb, but yeah.
so wait, so is Braun? He's like their nephew, right? Not their son. He's their nephew.
Um, I think so. I think he's like someone's nephew in the family
Yeah,
of Rick Steiner.
yeah,
So I don't know, but he is related to Rick
he
and
is.
Scott. Yeah. Okay. I got nothing. And you also think that Braun is going to win January 5th against Punk, or do you think they're gonna give it to Unk?
The no, they're gonna give it to Braun. They're gonna give it to Braun.
All right,
Yeah.
great, cool. All right, we'll move on then to
AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus the Usos for the World Tag Team Championship. I think that the Yeet Man cometh with his Yeet brother, and the Yeet Man wins this one. And I think they give it to the Usos to try and give some legitimacy to this absolutely flagging Raw Tag Team division. Um, and yeah, very, very easy result here.
yeah. I know that the tag team division is pretty bad right now, but what would you put as your first team to go up against the Usos?
On Raw, probably going to be like maybe the Judgment Day.
Yeah, okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense for sure. Yeah, no, I would do so too. The War Raiders are kind of heatless right now. The New Day also heatless. So yeah, I would say Judgment Day for sure. Moving on then to
We have a Maxine Dupree promo about Becky Lynch. This is basically a promo that sets up the. She comes out with the Alpha Academy. This sets up basically just a match between them at the Rumble, probably a street fight. Oh wait, it is Saudi Arabia. Hold on. Would they do that in Saudi Arabia? Probably not, right? They never go on
Oh,
like I don't know.
good question.
That's
Good question.
that's a question.
I don't know. I have no
Okay,
idea.
not a street fight. I'm gonna say a submission, some stipulation to blow off this feud at Saudi Arabia. It could be a street fight. I don't know, because it's Saudi Arabia. So anyway, I think that this sets up some stipulation for their match at uh, the Royal Rumble. Probably some stipulation like Becky put on Lyra, where it's like if I win this, you can't challenge me for this ever again. Or whatnot. So
Actually think our match is on January 5. So
really,
yeah, it's not Royal Rumble. It's January 5.
is it confirmed yet, or is it just like a?
I'm pretty sure it is confirmed as of last week. But yeah.
Oh, okay. So probably sets up maybe some stipulation for that match instead.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Probably a stipulation, I guess. What do you think their stipulation would be though?
Where is it taking place? Los Angeles.
Are you gonna say LA Street Fight or something?
Yeah, it's gonna have to be an LA street fight.
All right. I think it's
I don't know
Brooklyn.
where is it taking place? Brooklyn. Oh
Maybe
yeah, because
Brooklyn?
last time, yeah, last time the first episode took place in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. So I think it's gonna be like a Brooklyn brawl or whatever the fuck they want to call it.
All
Street
right.
fight.
Yeah. Street Fight it is. Yeah, that makes sense because of their feud. All right, we'll move on then to
We have Javon Evans versus Bravo Americano, who is also known as, I think this is Pete Dunne. Sorry, no, this is not Pete Dunne. This is Tyler Bates. Pete Dunne is Rayo Americano. This is Bravo Americano.
yeah.
Wins this one via. Actually, you know what? Do I have him here? I'll go back to my notes. Sorry, I was looking at the roster page to figure out if this was Pete Dunne or Tyler Bates. I think Bravo actually wins this one because of 50-50 booking, thanks to interference from El Grande Americano. This sets up a feud between Javon Evans and El Grande Americano.
All right. Makes sense. Do you think El Grande Americano wins Oh, I already asked this, but do you still think Javon wins this feud or
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it sucks that Ludwig Kaiser has been reduced to a comedy jobber, but I'm holding out hope that when Chad Gable is back, they might do something meaningful with this El Grande Americano angle they got going on, because it was so funny and actually very entertaining the first couple weeks they did this. Like the pop that he got when he came out for that like 6-man number one contenders fight or whatever for the World Heavyweight Championship was great. And then now they've just relegated him to being comedy. I mean, he was a comedy act anyway, but he had a little
Yeah.
bit of staying power. So
Well, I think Ludwig is enjoying himself. As El Grande Americano. It's definitely going to be hard if they do
I
decide
mean,
to move
yes,
it back
he
to.
is married to Tiffany Stratton, so I guess he doesn't have a problem with being Grande Americano.
Well, about that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Rip.
But as I said, he's enjoying his role. It's gonna be hard to move it back to Chad Gable if Chad Gable does come back. So yeah, I don't know. I think El Grande Americano is just going to be a mainstay in AAA, and then if they need some sort of random ass mid card feud to put him in, they'll just put him on there on Raw, and that's it. So I think he's just gonna be on AAA for a while until they unmask him and Ludwig miraculously comes back to Raw. But yeah, that's what I think anyway. We'll move on then to.
Austin Theory versus Rey Mysterio. This was teased last week. I think this is actually confirmed for this week, I think. And this continues, Rey Mysterio's feud with the Judgment Day. Jeez, with the Vision. Thank you. And I think Austin wins this one via pinfall, because you can't have him lose his first match. I think he wins it thanks to interference from the Vision, just to keep Rey looking a little bit strong and not like a complete jobber. And yeah, there you go. Austin Theory cements himself as a legitimate player on the Raw roster, in a roster that does not need any more legitimate heels, but we have another one. So
He's like 27, so we'll put him in division. He's kind of young. Any young people that are less than 35 years old can be in division.
yeah, we need people like the 35-year-old Drew McIntyre partner in the division, and the 40-year-old Seth Rollins.
Yeah, the
We need those
future.
guys in there.
Ah, yeah, they're gonna be like the NWO except younger, I guess. We'll put on some significant talent in there, and then we'll have them like break out of the group, and then the rest can be ass jobbers, I guess, and we'll put them in a group, and they'll be like the NWO for this year. All right, well, we'll move on then to the main event, which is.
The main event, which is the three-way fight for the Women's World Championship. I think that Vaquer, unfortunately, retains this one because of miscommunication from the Judgment Day on behalf of Raquel Rodriguez, and that causes Vaquer to be able to barely retain her championship. And this starts a little bit. I mean, I know we've said this so many goddamn times on this show, where this starts the eventual downfall of the Judgment Day, but another crack in the Judgment Day is what I'm going to say here.
Yeah.
I don't know who eventually takes it from Stephanie. I do know that someone needs to take it from her, because she has really, she does have some good moves in the ring. I will give her that much, but
Uh-huh.
Lord,
Uh-huh. Yep.
she can't cut a promo. She can't really do it, unfortunately.
Yeah. She probably needs like a Kiana James to speak for her or
She needs a
something.
manager. Yeah, yeah, yes. Until she can get good at cutting promos,
Okay, so do you think
or
that.
just give her
Yeah.
like a translator. Give her like a translator and make it funny. You know.
You know what? Have her like go with an interviewer and who knows Spanish or something, I guess, and then like I don't know. Something needs to be done, I guess. But I was gonna say, do you think Judgment Day will break up next year or the year after next year?
I think depending on how long Dominic is out for, I could see it being next year because I think it's a perfect time to do it because you want to turn Dominic face, and I mean, Roxanne is capable of being a singles player. You have Raquel and Liv, who will probably still be a team for a while, um, and then Finn Balor can go back to being a singles guy too. So,
Okay.
um, because Dominic was kind of one of the big pillars holding it up, and I think if he's out for a while, then it makes sense to if you want to finally end this whole thing. But you know, how many times we've said this, Brian?
Um,
So many
a
damn
lot of
times.
times for sure.
Yes, a
Yeah.
lot of times.
Well, hopefully they follow up on all of this Judgment Day shenanigans. Um, yeah, and hopefully we'll get the Judgment Day to break up at some point because I think they'll. Here's the thing with Triple H. Sometimes he like builds things up way too slowly to where people don't care anymore, and sometimes he just build things up way too fast to where people just complain about how quick that was or how that was just done for the sake of a pop. So I think that's something that they're gonna have to do for the new year to figure out how to do. But anyway, that's what we got for the last episode of Monday Night Raw for the year of 2025. And as I said earlier, we will watch the actual next episode of the show, and then we will score our predictions and bookings and come back here and we will tell you what we got, and then we will plan out the new year and beyond. Well, not beyond, just like the first episode of the new year. But until then, thank you for ordering a pepperoni pizza called probably next week on Raw from Grapperinos. And remember, if you are down for some fresh, oven-baked, crispy wrestling content, stop on by Grapperinos and order yourself some content you can grapple with. See you next year, Grapperinos, and probably next time for SmackDown too, if you care.